Welcome back. So as you can see, this lovely VS2 has no paint. You know, she moves very freely, but she has no paint, so we're going to work on that today. She is going back to original black with some reproduction floral decals, so she should be lovely. Let me clean off some of my mess here. This back plate doesn't need masking. It is what it is, and that's going to get painted as a whole. Same thing with the belt guard. It's just ready to go and get hung up. I'm going to do the wheel next. The outer wheel, I need to polish it some more. I just did a really quick polish on it. It needs a little bit more, but I am masking that off because I don't want to paint that outside edge. I'm going to be masking off the top part here to cover that hole, and this little inner circle, that whole part's going to get masked off. Okay, so here's the wheel. It's all ready to go. And the last thing that's in the accessories that I need to deal with is the little bobbin winder. So the little shiny pieces up here, they're going to get masked off. I'm going to put silicone plugs in where the threads go, but everything else is going to get painted. Okay, so here we go. This hole is empty because that's what I'm going to use to put my wire hanger through. There's no threads in there, it's just clean. So if I do get any paint in there, it's pretty easy to get it cleaned out afterwards. So that's it. Let me go take all these, hang them up on my rack in there, and I'll be back to work on the machine. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is close up this big cavity here by putting grocery bags in there, making sure that, you know, they're kind of wrapped around the main shaft as much as possible and everything that might be exposed down here. I like using grocery bags. They're easy to compress into little spaces, and they're easy to pull out too. Okay, so I might put one more in there. All of the little holes that are threaded are going to get my little silicone plugs, and especially this one, I'm going to be masking off the back part back here where the hand wheel goes. All kinds of stuff up here. So let me go ahead, get her masked off, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so at this point, she's pretty well masked together. Got what I need to cover up at the bottom. Remember, this did not come off, and that is fine. We're leaving it as it is. I'm not worrying about this little sweep here. I will be painting that. That doesn't bother me. There's a tiny little pinhole right here, but I'm not masking that off. I can just pick it with a pin if paint does happen to get in there, and that'll be fine. So with that as the bottom, everything that I need to on the top is also masked off. So I'm going to head back into my paint booth and get started with her primer coat. Okay, I've got her all painted, and what I've done is, you know, on the bare metal, use the Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 sandable filler primer, okay, and gave a very healthy coat of that on everything. And I've also put 2 coats, in some cases a little more, of a Rust-Oleum High Performance Gloss Black Enamel. So I'm just going to let this cook in here with the heater for a couple days, and then we'll be ready to put her decals on. But so far, she's looking lovely. Okay, I have her painted, as you can see, and her paint is dry, so I'm going to go ahead and get started putting her decals back on. I bought the decals off of eBay, but they have the little pictures here of what their placement is supposed to look like. So that's what I'm going to follow. Oh, that's the seller, if anyone is interested. Okay. So the this is what they look like. So you do have to trim around them very carefully. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to do the ones up on top first and then do the ones below last. So the first one I'm going to do is up here on the top. It is the Singer Manufacturing Company one. Now these decals are a little bit different than the ones that I usually use. So I need to put the paper goes on top. Okay, a lot of the ones I use, just ignore all of my bubbles. I put a drop of dish soap in and I used my sprayer on there and it got a little bit foamy. But on these you put it face down and then the paper comes off. So let me see if I can get it started here. And get it smoothed out. Okay, and I am going to run and grab a clean cloth. A new pack here. Clean microfiber cloth. And just gently push all of the water out from behind it, okay? And I'm looking at their little pictures. There is a little bouquet of flowers here that's going to go right over where the spool pin area is. So I need to pull those little plugs out. It's going to be right up here. And then there's another little bunch of flowers that goes up here. Okay, so I got those on. This one here is a little tricky because you're putting it on a little raised platform and then it has to go off. So you need to make some cuts so that it will form around it. But I think that looks pretty nice. Can you see that? Let me make sure I get all my little air bubbles out. So once I have that done, there is a little strip of flowers that goes over the wheel. I had a little issue with the wheel, so I had to just put a fresh coat of paint on it, so I will do that later. But it looks like this is the entire bed, and that's good, but I need to do the sides first. So here is what it looks like on there, and this is what it looks like on here. Just letting you know, these corners right here are usually the trickiest part, but we can make it work. So I'm going to go ahead and get them cut out and put on the same way. Soak it in the water, put it on, peel it off, and then position it. If I have to make little adjustments with a little wet paintbrush, some sharp scissors to clip it where I need to, and all is good. Okay, so I got everything on except the wheel, and I mean the wheel guard, and I'll do that probably in another day or so. So I'm going to let these decals dry. I want to make sure that there's no residual water lurking behind them. I need to, after they're dry completely, come back in here because I need to get a blade in and cut around where this panel is on the bottom and the top. That's kind of tricky, but I don't want to do it while it's dry. I mean while it's wet. So I'll probably work on that tomorrow. So I just wanted to show you, she is lovely. This is that little raised area I was talking about where it's a bit tricky getting the decal to form around it, but there she is. So yeah, looking great so far. Next time you see her, I'm going to be clear coating her. Okay, so I wanted to show you, I have this machine clear coated and she is looking very lovely. So she's in here going to dry and cure. I'm going to give her a couple days before I even get started touching her to get her reassembled. Yes, there is her wheel. And hang on. The little back plate and things that you cannot see, the pretty little flowers there. There they are. So yeah, she is looking lovely. So that's going to be it for this pretty quick getting her painted video. Hope you liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.